Hey, thanks for stopping in. Today's Trail Talk, I want to just talk a little bit about buying a piece of property, some acreage, possibly a tiny home or something that has a trailer, or, maybe you want to build a small little hunting shack. And I just kind of want to share, just some, raw numbers. Melissa and I just purchased this place about 3 months ago, and we had been looking for, about a year and a half. And, I think one of the, first things is, what are you looking for in a property? We love to four-wheel drive our side-by-sides. We wanted a place with trails, and we got the two dogs, so we needed a place where we could put the dogs while we go riding, so, and we wanted some acreage. And what we have here is we bought 20 acres and a small cabin. It's 12 by 12 with a 12-foot ceiling, and pretty basic, but that cost us $65,000. Okay. And and the reason why I'm telling you the numbers is just to kind of give you an idea. If you're looking, what do things cost, and how much money you need to make it happen. And that's, I would say, like the main thing where people get stuck is the financing. Because buying land or, like a small cabin is a lot different than buying a home. I would say, buying a $150,000 home or $175,000 home, with a traditional mortgage is a heck of a lot easier than buying, 10 acres of property, 10 acres of woods. Because with a mortgage, they're a lot less stringent as far as, getting that loan, because you have a house. If you go, fall short in your payments, that house is, the banks or the mortgage companies, okay? With raw land, that generally is going to be probably the thing that you're going to pay your house payment, you're going to pay your car bills, and but if you just got a raw chunk of land up north, that may be the one that you kind of skip the payment on. I'm saying if you lose your job and things go bad. So that's why it's a little bit tougher to get those loans. And also, you generally have to go through a bank, so it's almost like a personal loan. And with a land loan, you're talking, you gotta put 20, probably a minimum to 25% down. So, on a property like this, 65,000, you're looking at $13,000 for a down payment. Then you got your closing costs. That's another 14,000. So, you're looking at, I think Melissa and I spent about 17,000 for down payment and closing costs. So, and that's kind of, that's on $65,000. And another thing too that's kind of like the sweet spot, the 50 to 80,000. It's harder to get a loan. Like, they don't really want to loan you 20,000, on a raw piece of land. And just to give you an idea too, is if you want to get going on this, you might be young, or just, hey, it took me 50 years to do it, but your credit score, man, is so important. I would say first thing to do is go to Credit Karma, get an account. It's totally free. You can do your taxes on it, and see where you sit with your credit score, because that is really going to, that is super important when it comes to getting a loan for a piece of land. Because like I said, you're going to deal with small banks, and I got a great guy, John, that made it happen for us. But they're going to want probably a 750 credit score. And another thing is your debt to income ratio. You don't want that above like 40%. And what that is let you add up, what you make gross per month. Let's say you make $2,000 a month, before they take out any taxes. But then you have $1,000 in your bills, and I'm talking like your mortgage, your car payment, that type of stuff. Let's say that's 1,000, so you're at a 50% debt to income ratio. So that is another very important thing to look at and monitor. Where are you at? Get that in check. Get that credit score. At that above 700 at least. One thing with the banks, they have, they're more lenient. They can look at, the bigger picture compared to like a mortgage company, I would say. But again, they are a lot more strict. But, as far as the down payment, what we did is it was perfect timing. The housing market, the price of homes crazy, interest rates are low, and we just, refinanced the house just to get a better interest rate, great rate. And my mortgage guy, lifelong friend, Darren, was like, well, shit, man, you could take some money out. So what we did is, we just took some money out, when we refinanced. And what that did is, that enabled us. We had our down payment, they basically just sent us a check, and we had the down payment, and then we had extra, to buy. Because the thing is, once you buy a piece of property, you're going to want to have an extra set of, lawn equipment. You got, silverware, you name it. You want everything you have at home, you end up wanting another set at the cabin. And so it's nice to have a little cushion, extra few $1,000s. Like I said, the shipping container was like a little over $4,000 to have it delivered, but that is really nice. But another thing is location. From our house in the cities, it's 3 hours up to here, and that includes a couple potty breaks. And we got dogs. We stop, and no rush. But yeah, 3 hours, and that's not bad. You could, in the search, we found properties, cheaper, but you're talking 4 hours, 4.5, and that's just, for me, that's too much. You almost would have to have a long weekend, like a Friday or a Monday off, if you're driving 4.5 hours. But even 3, it's nice to have a 3-day weekend. But that's definitely something to consider. You're like, oh, well, it's cheap. Well, then you get it and you're like, damn, 4 hours each way, this sucks. But another thing is access. It's like, I'm in northern Minnesota, and this would probably be true for, anybody in Michigan or Wisconsin or obviously Canada, which is not too far from here, is the wintertime and snow. Can you access your place? Here we're off like a main road, and the cabin sits, not far off, where we park the car. But, a lot of these YouTubers I see, they're driving, you got to go 3 miles down a, logging road. Well, if you don't have, a truck to plow the road and all that stuff, you're pretty much, possibly December 1st locked out of the place. We can use this, and this place is absolute snowmobile heaven because the North Shore gets so much snow. So we're definitely going to use that. But that, that's something to consider is, can you access it? And, what kind of stuff is there to do up there? If you get a cheap place in the middle of the woods and you're like, well, what the heck do we do now? If you like to bicycle or hike, find a place that has that. If you like lakes, find a place that has a lot of lakes nearby. Obviously, you're probably not going to get on a lake. It's expensive, but it's great. Kind of pausing as I'm walking, we have a lot of wild raspberries and blueberries, and the birds are just like flying by with raspberries in their mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope this just kind of gives you, some type of reference, like, hey, let's start working on the credit score. Let's see where we're at, with our debt to income ratio. Start talking to some small banks, but it's so important you get that financing ready. So then you can go out and shop, and then, that too is extremely frustrating because there's so many other people out there. You'll find a property, you fall in love with it, and then you get outbid by somebody. It's, that's part of the thing. We've been searching forever. We've found properties, got outbid, lost them. We've had financing fall through. We had one situation where we thought we were all locked in. It was 25% down, and when it came to the end, they wanted some extra stuff, and it didn't work out. But thankfully, John at Moose Lake State Bank helped us out and made it all happen. But like I said, find yourself a good banker too, Not the big banks either, not the Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, It's these small banks in small towns is where, where you go to, because they could work around and make it more individual for you. But man, if it is something you want to do, go for it. Go for it. You can make it happen. That down payment, there's lots of wealthy people out there. And another example too is the property here, like I said, we got 20 acres, and then my neighbor has 40, and he owned like 100 acres. And when I bought the property, or the gal before, that was in 2012, and she included this little map here, and I just went to like a contract for deed. This guy, and this is 12 years ago, he was selling 39.45 acres, okay? So it's a total of 47,000, put $4,000 down, and that was $296 a month owner financing. And I know my other neighbor, she is actually on a contract for deed with this neighbor to my left here. So, if the traditional financing doesn't work, there are lots of people and pieces of property out, that people don't use, and they'd be happy to owner finance, So those ones you're not going to find like on your Realtor, Zillow, or, stuff like that. You have to drive around. Up here in northern Minnesota, you'll see little signs, for sale by owner. Check it out. They're probably flexible. But hopefully I just give you some inspiration. But, let me know your experience, or if you have any like specific questions. Hey, feel free. And, if you'd like to subscribe, please do. I would certainly appreciate that. And hey, make it a great day.